Some names echo through history like distant drums. Cleopatra is one of them. Not merely a queen, but a force of nature. A woman whose wit matched her beauty and whose ambition shaped the fate of empires. Tonight, we journey back to the dying days of ancient Egypt, to a time of alliances, betrayals, and a queen who dared to stand against the tide. This is the story of Cleopatra, the last queen of Egypt. In 69 BCE, in the fabled city of Alexandria, Cleopatra was born into the royal house of Ptolemy, a dynasty descended not from Egyptian blood, but from the Greeks who had ruled Egypt since the days of Alexander the Great. She was not the first Cleopatra, nor even the first queen of her name, but she would be the last and the greatest. From a young age, Cleopatra stood apart. She studied languages, mastering not just Greek, but Egyptian, Aramaic, Latin, and more. She learned philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, and unlike many of her family who ruled from golden thrones but spoke only Greek, Cleopatra embraced Egypt itself. She spoke to her people in their own tongue. She walked among them, listened to them, ruled them with a wisdom rare even among kings. As her father's favorite, she saw firsthand the growing shadow of Rome, a superpower hungry for Egypt's wealth. She knew, to survive, she would need more than royal blood. She would need brilliance and a strength few would ever expect. When her father died, Cleopatra ascended the throne, but not alone. By tradition, she was forced to marry her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, a boy, easily manipulated by scheming courtiers. A power struggle erupted almost immediately. At just 21 years old, Cleopatra was forced to flee Alexandria, a queen without a throne. But fortune favors the bold. At that very moment, Julius Caesar arrived in Egypt, fresh from civil war, seeking Rome's debts repaid and Egypt's loyalty secured. Cleopatra saw her chance. Legend says she had herself smuggled into Caesar's quarters wrapped in a rug. An audacious act of courage and showmanship. The gamble worked. Caesar was captivated, not merely by her beauty, but by her sharp mind and commanding presence. He agreed to back her claim. Together, they defeated her brother's forces. Cleopatra reclaimed her crown, but more than that, she forged a new alliance, an alliance with Rome itself. And soon, a son was born, Caesarion, the child Cleopatra claimed was the true heir of Julius Caesar. The stakes had never been higher. With Caesar's backing, Cleopatra reigned supreme. She ruled Egypt in a time of cultural renaissance. Art, science, and economy flourished under her careful watch. But her heart and her political future lay tied to Rome. When Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BCE, the world shifted again. The Roman Republic fractured. Civil war loomed. Cleopatra set her sights on a new ally, Mark Antony, the charismatic general and heir to Caesar's legacy. Their meeting in Tarsus was theatrical. Cleopatra sailed up the river Cydnus aboard a golden barge dressed as the goddess Isis, bathed in perfumes, surrounded by musicians and dancers. Antony was overwhelmed. He fell under her spell, just as Caesar had. Their love affair was both scandalous and strategic. Together, they dreamed of a new world order, a union of East and West under their joint rule. But back in Rome, rivals whispered of treason, of a Roman general bewitched by an Eastern queen. The tide of history was about to turn. Cleopatra and Antony's alliance terrified Octavian, the adopted son of Julius Caesar and the most ruthless politician Rome would ever produce. Octavian declared war, not on Antony, but on Cleopatra herself. He painted her as a foreign seductress who sought to enslave Rome. In 31 BCE, their forces clashed at the Battle of Actium. Cleopatra and Antony's fleets were outmaneuvered. Defeated, they retreated to Egypt, their dream crumbling. Octavian pursued them relentlessly. Facing inevitable defeat, Antony fell on his sword. Legend says he died in Cleopatra's arms, a tragic echo of their once glorious ambitions. Left alone, Cleopatra faced a choice: submission or death. She chose immortality. In August of 30 BCE, Cleopatra arranged for an aspi, a venomous snake, to be smuggled into her chamber. She took her life with dignity, dressed in royal robes, lying on a golden couch. Thus ended the reign of the last pharaoh of Egypt. With Cleopatra's death, Egypt became a Roman province. The ancient world's light dimmed, and a new empire rose. "2,000 years have passed, yet Cleopatra's name still burns brightly. Was she a temptress, a ruthless strategist, a passionate visionary? In truth, she was all these things, and more. She was a ruler who spoke 9 languages, a queen who saw power as both a sword and a shield. She was a woman who defied 2 of Rome's greatest men, and almost succeeded in reshaping the world. Artists, poets, and playwrights have reimagined her endlessly: Shakespeare, Plutarch, Hollywood. Each generation sees in Cleopatra what it wishes and what it fears. But beyond myth, there was always the woman. Fierce, brilliant, unforgettable. Cleopatra reminds us that true greatness is never simple. It is messy, it is magnificent, and it endures, even when empires fall. Cleopatra's life was a dazzling flame, brief, brilliant, and consuming. She stood at the crossroads of history, and though the sands of time have buried her city, her ships, her throne, they have not buried her story. In every legend whispered under the Egyptian moon, in every star that glimmers over Alexandria's forgotten shores, Cleopatra lives on. Thank you for joining us in the timeless journey of the last Queen of Egypt.